Hello and welcome to the What's Good with Gil and Larry podcast. I am Gil and Larry. That is my main man, Larry Loper. We are coming to you on this exclusively on the Box Office Buzz 302 channel, Tuesday, May the 20th, 2025. Can you believe we are 5 months into the year? I'm just getting used to writing 2025, and the
Yeah,
year is nearly half over.
yeah,
Ridiculous. Ridiculous. A month from now, it's going to be summer.
yeah.
Summer. What? What?
The older you get, the more time quickly
It
passes you
goes
by.
so fast. I feel like as soon as I got out of school is when it really went fast. I thought high school was fast, those 4 years. It just got faster. It just got faster. My 20s was fast. My 30s was faster. My 40s, I didn't like my 40s. And now I'm in a new decade. So, take your time and make the most of it.
Indeed.
So, listen, we got a lot on the docket. NBA, NHL, a little bit of PGA, NFL, the war of words that's happening on social media, a little bit of WWE, and of course, we lost one of our friendly faces from television. Especially if you're a '80s kid,
Right.
you'll recognize it. So, let's get it started. NBA, we got conference championship starting today on the
Yeah.
West Coast. Minnesota at OKC. What are your thoughts on this series, sir?
Oh man. So far, is what I thought it was going to be. You understand? The Timberwolves, man. I thought the trades worked out best for both sides in that big trade in the beginning of the season. I thought they probably jumped the gun a little bit because they did go to the West Conference Finals. So I was like, why would you break that up so fast when you were a year away? Hey, they knew somebody and know. For the New York Knicks, it worked out best. We needed a big man. I guess in Tips' system, it works out because we got a big man that could pop out, shoot the three. I don't agree with it, but hell, whatever. It's still working for us, right? And then on the Minnesota side, they got physical. I thought what they lacked last year was that they got beat up, and they realized that when they played Dallas, Dallas just was out rebound them. They were more physical than they was. Anthony Edwards could do but so much. Soft behind Rudy Gobert, who won the Defensive Player of the Year, but he's soft. He's a liability. Only time you seen a guy really have a big game was when he played the Lakers, who are undersized. Okay, I told you that when they played Golden State, that his size wouldn't matter because he's soft. You know what I mean? He's a tall for nothing big guy. Okay, now you got Julius Randle who's balling out. Oh man, I did not see that one coming. But then again, I think he took a personal because he put a line in New York. He had got injured that year that they traded him off. He had got injured, right? But we know prior to that, when he was the main guy, that he folded in the playoffs. Against the Atlanta series. I'm a New York Knicks fan, so in the Atlanta series, I thought he just pressed it. You don't want Julius Randle being your number one option, okay? And this team is cool because Julius Randle could go ahead, do what he's doing right now. He's hitting some big shots against OKC right now. It's 40-36, which nerves is for the OKC size nerves. You just came on a big series with Denver. You crushed Denver, and now you got to adjust to this new opponent who's more physical and a tad bit younger than Denver was. You know what I mean? If you could get through the Joker, but Anthony Edwards is a different animal, especially in the second half. He's a different animal. He's explosive. He hits big shots. So that part. But I think it's going to be a very competitive series. I think that the fact that Minnesota has been there last year, so it's not as big to them as it is to OKC, that could be an edge. Um, I think that for OKC, definitely you want to go through SGA, the MVP of the league. He's going to be the MVP. But I think the role players have to play big. Like the Jalen Williams, he has to play big. I think the home grid has to play big and does what he do. Get fast break. They work well on the fast break. Caruso is a defensive stopper. So they got some pieces, man. They just have to play their game. If they play their game, then they'll win the series. If they play a Minnesota game, which is a physical game, I'm gonna lean more towards Minnesota because they have a player who I believe is a game changer at any moment, and that's Anthony Edwards, Ant-Man, the Marvel hero. What about you, my brother?
Ooh, a lot to unpack there. First of all, I think it's going to be a great series. I think it's going to go 6 or 7 games. I think Minnesota is going to win game one. I have OKC winning the series. I'm going to say they win it in 7. I'm going to say it goes 7. They'll be behind the 8 ball early in this series, in my opinion, or at least it goes back to Minnesota 1-1. But I think Minnesota wins tonight. That's my prediction. I will say this, in knowing the NBA, how I know it, and I know what the guys who promote the NBA, like Stephen A. Smith, like what they look for. SGA might be the MVP this year, but to me, the star is going to be Anthony Edwards. And the reason I say that is it's not so much basketball ability, because they're both great. They both can score the rock. But I think it's personality. I think one guy is going to talk a lot on the court. I think one guy is not only going to, play like his hair's on fire, but he's going to look like his hair's on fire. I mean, Anthony Edwards is going to look like a madman in this series. SGA, that's not his temperament. I mean, he's going to play great. He's going to put up numbers. He definitely, to me, is the league MVP this year. And this is going to sound a little bit silly, but bear with me. I think SGA is just a little too Canadian. Now, what do I mean by that?
Yeah, break that down for me, Gil. Break down to this audience what you mean by a little bit too Canadian.
A little bit too Canadian. Okay, so I'm going to assume that a lot of our audience is diverse in more than just one sport. And I'm bringing up Canadians. Well, what sport do you hear a lot of Canadians mentioned? Hockey. Bingo. So hockey, you have great players, great Canadian players. It's intense. They're super competitive. They great athletes, yada, yada. No disrespect, Canadian athletes, Canadian hockey players. But what happens during intermission? What happens when they talk to them during intermission? What happens pregame when they talk to them? What happens postgame? That electricity, that fire on the ice, as soon as the game is over or at some kind of stoppage, they go back to being Canadian. What do I mean by that? They are very monotone. Okay, their demeanor doesn't rise, doesn't fall. It stays level. When they talk, they're very monotone in the way they talk, the way they show their expressions. When they say they're excited, they're like, I'm very excited for the series. When they say they're sad, they say, I'm disappointed that we lost. When they say they won, they say, oh, it's a team effort, got to go next round. It's respectful,
right?
But it's very
dry.
Okay, it's dry, it's bland, it's vanilla.
Yeah. It's very vanilla.
Where's the flavor?
Baked chicken with no seasoning.
Rice, not rice. You heard me, rice. That is correct.
Yeah,
like white rice.
Yeah,
or milk.
Yeah,
or vanilla ice cream. I like milk. I like white rice. I like vanilla ice cream, but they're all bland. They're all bland. And to me, that's what SGA is. He's a great player. He's a great basketball player. And then after they win game 7, he's just right here when he talks. And that's the kind of energy that he gives. And I like the dude. He's respectful. But he, you compare him to Ant-Man, and this is Ant-Man. This is Anthony Edwards. This is he's going to rub you the wrong way. He's going to rub you the right way. All of it. The whole gambit. He's going to tell you what he's thinking. He's going to tell you, I don't even know who Larry Bird is or these old heads. And he's going to get a reaction out of you. And even if it's a bad reaction, it's better than no reaction.
Yeah.
You want to hear what SGA has to say post-game? Not really. You want to hear what Anthony Edwards has to say, win or lose? Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the difference. That's the
Yeah.
difference to me. And the further into the playoffs that they go, the bigger audience you get because there's less teams. So now everyone is going to be focusing in on these four teams,
Mhm.
especially from the West. They're going to focus in on OKC and Minnesota, even more than the East, but the East will too. Same thing with the Knicks and the Pacers. So
Right.
I just think that this is Anthony Edwards is going to become more of a household name because he's going to be the one that people are going to be talking about, good, bad, or indifferent. SGA, you look at his stat line, that's all you need to see. That's all you need to see. Yeah, he great player, scored 36 points, whatever the stat line is. You're not going to have anything else to say about him. And for what it's worth, that's not how you build a star. You build a
Yeah.
star by drawing attention to yourself. And I think Anthony Edwards does that.
What about the Joker? The Joker that won the league MVP 3 times, a Serbian, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you can't really. I mean, he's getting better with interviews because he's learning English a lot more better, right? But he's not giving you that um, explosive personality.
The only thing that's really holding him back is the accent and the broken English. If you get past that, you can see a little personality.
Yeah,
When he won the championship, what did he say? Now we get to go home, right?
yeah,
Yeah, little one-liners like that. Plus, you've seen him tussle with people on
yeah,
the court,
yeah,
right? You've heard of his brothers, his older brothers in the stands, how you don't want to mess with him because you'll be messing with his brothers and stuff
yeah.
like that. It's a little bit, it's a
A little more edge, a little more edge, a little
SGA
more
is
edge.
giving you nothing.
Yeah,
He's a great player, but interviews and it's nothing. It's Steve Nash,
and
it's
it's a
Todd
reason.
McCullough.
And it's the reason why I believe it. Yeah, you're right. It is a reason why certain players are the face of the league and why they choose certain players to be able to carry that mantle. Why the LeBron James, the Michael Jordans, the Kobe Bryants, the Larry Birds, Magic, that tandem, they all have personalities. Like you said, they all have personalities. They were polarizing, on the court and off the court. Michael Jordan, he'll smoke a cigar, go gamble, play some golf, and his story is unanimous when they say how this dude was just a killer. He could do all the above and still go in there and kill you on the basketball court. That was his personality. We know the Mamba, the Mamba. We named him the Mamba. Okay, we named King James
Well, no,
because he.
King James named himself King James.
They came in calling him King James, brother.
Self-appointed
They
chosen
came
one,
in.
tattooed on his back.
Yeah, but they came in the league and gave him the chosen one.
Yeah.
That was his title, the chosen one, and King James. Like they tried to give Zion, whatever that was, Zion, right? But he got out of shape, and he's exposed, but he's out of shape. He doesn't stay in shape enough to be able to carry the mantle. But trust me, if he was able to keep in shape, he probably could have been the face of the league. But I get what you're saying, man. We gave SGA his initials, SGA.
But what else is there? Great guy,
Yeah,
stays out of trouble,
yeah.
extremely respectful. But when I hear an interview with him, I get nothing. I get nothing. And even though he gets his points and he's a well-rounded player, there's no
It
hard foul. There's no, when he gets a dunk on a breakaway, it's all kind of.
so you think it's non-coincidental that he's in a small market for a reason?
Oh, I mean, they're the ones who drafted him, right? So,
No, he went to LA Clippers.
oh,
The,
that's right.
the Clippers drafted him.
I
Then he came
forgot
up with the
about that.
trade. Yeah,
I
the
forgot
trade.
all about that.
Yep. And Chris Paul, I think being underneath Chris Paul, he was able to hone his
Mhm.
professionalism because he was young when he got drafted out of Kentucky to the Clippers, and they had a nice team. But he wasn't able to mature in their system. So when he went out to the Thunder on that trade, 'cause I think that was when they got Kawhi and Paul George and all that package came together. He went with that package out. And then Chris Paul got shipped out to die in OKC.
But he had a good year.
No, he did.
Only 1 year, and it was good.
No, he did because they thought he was going to die out there. Remember, he was going out. They sent him out there to die. They didn't send him out there to rejuvenate a franchise. They sent him out there to die. And then, like you said, he had a great year. Then off that great year, he made the transition to Phoenix. You know, once again, built another franchise up just to have it. I ain't gonna go left with the KD thing because there's some trade rumors going around where he could be fit in that and next year because he's probably.
We got to get into that. We got to get into.
We definitely got to get into that, brother.
And hypotheticals.
Hypotheticals. We definitely gonna get about some hypotheticals for our viewing audience. But back to what I was saying though. Yeah, SGA was able to get underneath Chris Paul and learn underneath of him. And now look at him, man. You know, and then OKC, Sam Presti. Shout out to the GM, Sam Presti. He knows how to draft well and put the right pieces together. And any franchise, you got to build up to get to where you at. So they had to go through their hard years and transitional years to get to this team right here, which is a very strong team. And I like because we got the new faces of the NBA, man. We getting tired of these old goats, man. We get tired of the Golden States. No, champion, no credit, no disrespect to the champion. But you get tired of seeing the same faces, man. Lakers, Golden State. At one point, it was San Antonio. You want some fresh meat, man.
It's funny that you say that because I heard this today and I was like, you know what? I'm going to bring this up with Larry.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of just answered it, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Yeah.
How do you feel the fact that there's going to be another champion in the NBA? Because it's, when we got into it in the 80s.
Yes.
And in the 80s, only 3 teams won.
Yeah. Boston.
Lakers.
Boston. And Detroit.
Okay.
Yep.
And in the 90s, it was basically the same thing. It was Chicago,
and Houston, and San Antonio.
San Antonio won that last
year. Yep.
And then in the 2000s, it was the Lakers,
Miami,
San Antonio, Miami. Cleveland was always there, and then Golden State.
Golden State took over. You're right. So ever since that Golden State era, you're right. Every year has been a different team.
I think this will be like the 7th year in a row
where we got another champion.
Yeah.
And that was even better because think about it. The 4 franchises that are left Knicks have a title in 84, 85, the 84 season, right?
Who does?
The Knicks. They won one. Yes, they did. They
didn't win a title in 84.
They did win 84.
No, that last time the Knicks, New York Knicks, last time they won a title was 73.
73?
73. Was the
you're
last
right. No, I'm sorry. You're right. Because in the 80s, you're right. It was dominated by
Boston,
Lakers. And Philly got one in the 80s. Yeah, you're right. It was 70. It was 73. And was Bernard King on that team? No, Clyde.
73?
No, Clyde Frazier.
73 was Willis Reed, Bill Bradley, Dave the Busher, Walt Clyde Frazier.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I apologize, audience. He right. It is 73. And we just went over the 80s too. But that's when we got 73 that I could think of.
You won back to back, I believe, 72 and 73.
Okay, cool. So we got 2. Indiana.
I think it was back to back. It was definitely early 70s, and you got Phil Jackson was on one of those Knick teams. He was a backup center, and Earl the Pearl won on the second title game. So so it was 70, 73. 70 and 73.
We got 2.
Knicks got 2. 70.
Minnesota has 0.
Who has 0?
Minnesota.
Oh yeah, they got 0. Well, Minnesota used to have the Lakers. They were the Minneapolis
Lakers.
They were the Minneapolis Lakers.
Okay, so underneath that franchise, they might got 1 or 2, right?
When they had Mikan.
Okay, so they have more Mikan. Okay. Seattle, did they ever get one? No.
Yes.
Oh, they did?
The Sonics, yes. They did when they had what's his name? Oh God. He's like one of the all-time winningest coaches. Coach Cleveland, coached the Knicks, coached Atlanta.
Wilkins?
Lenny Wilkins,
Lenny Wilkins?
when he was a player for Seattle,
Okay.
that's when they won.
All right. So OKC has one then.
If technically that because Seattle in the OKC,
right.
But Seattle's supposed to get an expansion team, so I think once that happens, people won't think of
they won't
OKC as Seattle anymore.
All right, but for now it's one.
Yeah.
And Indiana has
none.
Okay, so in totality, out the 4 franchises that are playing, there is a total of 4, maybe 5 championships in total.
Well, I don't even count OKC. I mean, they moved there. I mean, that's like, oh my gosh! Like, do you count the Baltimore Ravens as the Cleveland Browns?
But then you can't count Minneapolis to the Lakers because it's been a while since they.
Okay, that's fine.
All right, so only team that's on this roster that have a chip is the Knicks.
2.
So that means, and it's been since what, 73?
73. So it's 52 years.
Yeah. So that means like they get on me about being a Cowboy because we ain't won in 30 years. Okay. It's the same feeling. Okay. That's distant history.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So basically we have fresh faces. Either which way somebody knew was going to be winning this chip.
And let me say something that I really don't want to say because I'm not a Knicks fan, but you are a Knicks fan. I'm just gonna be real. I'm just gonna be real.
Be real.
New York, the Knicks in particular, but New York, that area, Manhattan, that is in this country, professional basketball, that's the Mecca.
Oh, we know that.
That's the Mecca. When you see them practically have a parade.
Yeah.
After winning in the second round.
Yeah.
That's the Mecca.
You understand, man. It's been a long time.
It's more than that though, because when the Knicks in the 90s, when they were good, but they didn't win, it was still that.
Yeah.
It was still that kind of energy.
New York's a basketball town. It's a basketball city.
Yes.
The city is a basketball city, bro.
Rucker Park is in New York.
There's certain places that are
Rucker Park,
right, Rutgers in Harlem. There's certain places that are just basketball. But if you want to say if we pick a place that's going to be basketball, you'll say New York. Just like if I'm going to say football, I'm going to say Texas or Florida. I'm going to say Texas, Florida, and when it's on football. Like crazy about football, high school football, the boys that really take it serious.
Mm-hmm.
Texas and Florida.
And college basketball is Kentucky. No one does it like Kentucky. Yeah. State of Kentucky is all about college basketball, high school basketball. It's crazy. But professional basketball, it's New York. New York number 1.
New York. That's why everything about even the years we have bad years, right? It's still a big game for everybody to play a match.
It sells out.
It still sells out. And every player seems to want to shine in Madison Square Garden, brother. Mm-hmm. And I don't care what our team looked like. Just the allure of Madison Square Garden, probably one of the oldest stadiums that's built that's still around, right? It's something special about that building. And like you said, when we get the rocket, like we are now, the city, man, listen, I'm gonna tell you, and this be God on his tooth. If we win the chip,
here we go.
I got
here we go. Hold up. You won 2 rounds, or okay. Go ahead.
We win the champ, I could talk, man. My team is contending for a championship. I could talk. Okay. If my team wins the final, which we have a legitimate shot at doing, okay. I am at that parade. I'm telling you right now, I'm catching train up and I'm going to lose my mind because I kind of could empathize with or whatever, relate. I don't know about relate, but with the Eagles fans, just that feeling how they had that feeling of going up Broad Street and just, because I'm listening to I'm talking to the Eagles fans, man. I talk to them, right? We in Eagle country. And just that, because I never understood like the parade part, bro. I know everybody get a parade, and I never understood how fun it is for the city when you go to them parades until somebody that told me they went to the Eagles parade and how fun it was and how everybody was having
you had a ton of chances The Yankees won 5 rings.
I know, bro. I'm telling you, bro. Look, it ain't the same. It ain't the same. The Yankees, you're right. The Yankees are both. We post to win. We Yankees fan. Come on, bro. You know we post to win. We pay a lot of money to win. Okay. It's different with the Knicks, man. It's like that's like once in a blue moon. Okay. The Yankees is. I ain't gonna lie. We got spoiled, man. We won so many championships, man. It ain't enough rings to put on the fingers. I'm just saying, man. That's just for me. I am a Knicks fan for real, bro. And it's very rare. Just like you're a Chicago Bears fan. You gotta be a Bears fan to say you're a Bears fan. You have to literally be a Bears fan because there's nobody in this area or that many people will come across is gonna say they're Bears fans. And then you'll have a bunch of New England fans, bandwagoners, by the way. You have a bunch of
where are they now, by the way? Where are those New England
I'm trying to figure them out. I can't find them. They say Drake May is going to be their new quarterback, their franchise. I can't find them. Then we got these Kansas City fans pop out of nowhere. Okay. Eagles, I give the Eagles fans, them because Eagles fan. They are diehards, you know. And I'm trying to think of another franchise you would have to be like a fan. Like nobody's going to say these guys. Probably Miami if you ain't from Miami.
You mean like somebody that you wouldn't expect them to have a hardcore fan base, but they do?
Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
Cleveland has fans.
They do.
They suck.
They do. I feel sorry for Cleveland fans all the way around the border. You know, Cavs let them down this year. Peanut butter sandwiches.
How about that?
Peanut butter sandwiches, extra peanut butter, no milk.
Cavs and Celtics both go down.
The Celtics went down with injuries, though, man. Tatum took but then again,
we both said this. They were gonna lose that game. They were gonna be down 3-1.
Yeah. And we said that style is just retarded coaching, in my opinion. You know, thank you for having a dumb coach do what he did, right? Because no way possible that. And now, since we're going to segue into the Knicks and Pacers, might as well, right? Think about it, bro. Both of these teams came into the playoffs, into this matchup the same way. They had to grit out deficits.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with Indiana, they was down big in Cleveland game 2, found a way, came back, took their heart. We knew when they took their heart. I mean, yeah, they went in Indiana, got that game, the game 3, but we knew it was over, especially when they destroyed them in game 4. That game 4 was like, we talked about it. You ain't even want to fight. You know, you was talking all this junk. You in school, you said what you was going to do, right? And then you got to the bus stop and you got beat, pummeled in front of the whole school. You just got embarrassed. You ain't even fight. It wasn't even a fair fight. He just beat the crap out you. And we felt sorry for you because they just kept beating you. And we was like, man, he don't want to fight no more, man. He ain't even trying to throw his hands up, man. Stop beating that boy like that. That's exactly what just happened to Cleveland, right? So when they came back to Cleveland, they gave it their best shot. You know how I go, man. You gave your best shot. You fought till you fought my best punch. I gave you my best punch, and you took my punch, and you said, man, that's all you got? Okay, here we go again. And you beat them down, and then you send them home crying, you know, and that's what that was with Cleveland, unfortunately. Okay, Knicks, we in the Garden, man. Once again, I blame really I think our grit and our fight for not quitting and giving up. But I also got to give it to Boston too. They just played a dumb game. It was just dumb. You're up 20, you're still jacking up threes like they're going out of style. That's just stupid. It's dumb. Like, it's dumb. If you're up by 20, won't you go to the paint, put them in foul trouble, and make, you know, you're bailing me out shooting a bunch of threes, Gil.
What's crazy is that was a miraculous win game 1.
It was.
So you're like, okay, as long as we just don't do this, we win big. We do it again the very next game. Same exact thing. You're up 20 in the third quarter, both games, and you shoot yourself out of the game. They were playing well in that game 4.
They were
playing well. And
They
then
were.
all of a sudden, those 3-pointers aren't going in. And here comes the Knicks and came and took the lead. And then Tatum gets hurt, but the Knicks were going to win anyway.
Yeah, we
Like
don't
you
win
said,
anyway. Yeah.
uh,
That
yeah,
that
I
that
mean,
that you're right. That injury didn't affect the outcome of the game, how the flow of the game was going. It really
and
didn't.
what? Can anybody give me a straight answer? What happened to Porzingis?
I'm looking for him. Did you see him? I'm
Like,
still looking. Look, Cormet, I thank you once again. Bad coaching, right? That was not going to happen ever in a million years. This dude was going to give you what he gave you in Boston back to back. A blind man could see that. Okay, I'm telling you. Yeah, thank you for the little push you gave us in to get us the game 6, right?
mm-hmm.
But no. Cormet is what he is, bro. He's just give you 6 fouls. That's what he's for, man. That's what he's for. You got 6 that you can give away. That's him. All right. Porzingis is what he was. When you need him the most,
It's what he does. That's what's consistent about him is being inconsistent,
yeah.
getting injured, being sick. They said he had some kind of illness, but nobody could say what the illness was.
The illness was it was called the Ben Simmons illness.
I don't. The guy comes out in the first half and he's playing great, and then all of a sudden he's on the bench and doesn't come off the bench. And then they're down 10, and then he comes off the bench and goes right back on the bench. I don't get it. I mean, and it was so funny that it was the Knicks. It was the Knicks that
The guy
eliminated.
that drafted you, the team that drafted you.
Yep.
Right?
I mean, I thought he was going to be a superstar. He came in and he was tearing it up as a rookie.
He was.
Tearing it up. And
He
I mean,
was.
he has just, and then you think he's going to have a resurgence. After last year, you're like, oh, it's the second act for Porzingis. He's on the right team, and he doesn't have to be the first guy, the second guy, anything like. Nope, still.
Porzingis is. You called it though. You said it because I said the X factor would have been Porzingis to me. I think the X factor is Porzingis. I said that, right? And in my opinion, he would have been the X factor if he would have came and played. But you said, no. You said it. You said, I don't know. I don't see it happening. You called it, and you were right. It didn't happen. When you needed him the most, especially when Tatum going down, you needed that. And then you got production at quarterback, you got blocks. He had a heck of a game defensively, right? You know that they was going to need you to step up with Jaylen Brown, once again, attack the paint, soften them up. Then you kick out to Devin White, that's Derek White just hitting them threes. You could have played a better game. But when Porzingis stopped balling after the first quarter, kind of messed up what they were trying to do. Because if he was hot, you could have went through him and it would have opened it up. And then you could have probably got it back to Boston, which would have been 50-50 ball game. In my opinion, you go back to Boston's 50-50. Once we took your heart after the second quarter, it was over. And then we poured it on them.
A lot of blowouts are starting to happen.
Yeah.
A lot. And especially they're happening in like
critical games,
series clinching games.
Yeah.
Game 6s, game 7s. I mean, what's going on here?
What is, Gil? I think one team is just, I think that the fight, I think honestly that the fight just stops. I think at one point, crowds get into it, the momentum of the crowd. One team is getting charged up by their crowd. And then the other teams start playing lazy, sloppy basketball. So when you're on the road and you're in a hostile environment, you cannot have a lazy game. And I thought that both of them teams, Boston and Denver, they had a lot of turnovers, especially in the Denver game. They had a lot of turnovers, lazy passes, bro. And yes, Aaron Gordon wasn't 100%. Yes, Boston was not at 100%, but still, even though this is fundamental basketball, you got to be tight. You have very little room for error when you go into a hostile environment. Because if you get the crowd out of the game, you have a good shot of winning, or at least make it a competitive game. But once the crowd get charged up and they feed off the energy, man, woo, it get hot and it get hot. And you know, in the guard, it get loud. It get loud. It get hot. It get steamy, and the pressure gets thick. And them shots, hey man. But I'm gonna be honest with you, Gil. This series against the Indiana Pacers, man, I
You're
have to be.
nervous. You're nervous.
I am very nervous.
You're nervous.
I'm very nervous because
You saw what happened last year.
I am. I mean, I'm being honest. This guy right here, Tyrese Halliburton. I'm sorry. I'm gonna tell you why I'm nervous. They are killers. They haven't been talked about. That's a team even now. You're not even talking about them. We're so into the New York hype that we have like the chip, like you just said, like the chip will just come to us, or we just supposed to automatically go to the finals, right? Man, this is a dangerous opponent. They're well coached. They have players that they're not going to be missing shots like Boston was, bro. You know, and they're not
they don't play like that.
They don't play like Boston. That ball moves. Like it moves. So they have a good, and then Halliburton makes it easy for his players, man. So if we overplay, we got to be defensively sound playing Indiana, man, because you noticed in the Cleveland series that they were getting wide open looks, bro, off of ball rotation. And what I know about this team is that they're going to make the best basketball play. You know, so they will pass up that three for a better shot. That's what I'm worried about. And if it gets tight, they have a guy that has ice water in his veins, man, and that's Halliburton. He slept on, underrated, whatever you want to call it. This guy is a winner. And look, and the team is built around his identity, man. Indiana is a dangerous team, man. It really is. And Rick Carlisle has been there. He has been there. He has won a finals. He has won a chip. So that's dangerous. And he has kind of the same team he had when he was in Dallas.
And he also won championships as a player too. You know, before he was a coach, he was on the Boston Celtics in those 80s, those 80 teams.
Or was he?
Yes. He was drafted in 84. He was part of that super draft in 84.
Wow.
You know, that had Olajuwon, Jordan, Barkley,
Boston draft
Stockton. Yeah, and Carlisle was in that draft too.
Wow.
And he was on Boston Celtics, winning early in his career as a player.
Wow.
That's why he's got a good relationship with Larry Bird. They were teammates.
Man, thank you for giving me. I never knew that Rick Carlisle played for the Boston Celtics. I didn't know that. So he had to be nice in college. He got drafted.
You know it. He got drafted. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. He could play. That white boy can play.
He can play.
That white boy can play. So real quick, what to you is a bigger rivalry for the Knicks? Is it the Pacers or is it Miami? It hasn't been Miami in a while, but in the history.
Yeah, the history that we have is strong.
Because in the 90s and 2000s.
Yeah, it was. It was Tim Hardaway, Lonzo Mourning. It was definitely a rivalry. I'm gonna have to say Indiana though, with the Reggie Miller.
With Reggie?
Yeah, with Reggie, man.
Reggie, Spike Lee.
Yeah, we hated Indiana. I think it was more of a hatred for Indiana than it was for Miami. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we don't like Miami, but we hate Indiana. Like, we really hate Indiana. And probably because of what it is. New York and Miami is similar as their big market cities. You know, they're party towns. So we have that in common. Indiana is a blue collar state.
Yeah, small market.
I would say Delaware, we're a lazy
big market,
state.
Miami, Pat Riley effect.
Right. And then you got Larry Bird, you got home cooking, you got the city shuts down at 9:00. You know how it go. You know, people go home, watch reruns with the all the family reruns.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that, brother. It's cool, calm, laid back.
All in the family, the Jeffersons. I'm down with that.
Yeah, you know, it's cool, but it ain't Miami, and it definitely ain't New York. So Yeah, we hate the American. They're the American pie, so to speak, and we're the sex, drugs, and entertainment. I'll tell you, man. That's what it
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. That's
you
New
get
York.
out here, man. Yeah.
That's New York. Did I ever tell you? I think I might have told you this. When I was in, was it high school? Yeah, I think it was high school. So right after my senior prom, we had a limo, and we were like, we didn't know where to go, so we just went to New York, and we're just drive around New York and stuff like that. We got hungry, and we had the limo for like the night, and we went to a McDonald's, and I'm telling you, it was 3 o'clock in the morning. Thursday, I guess Friday night into Saturday.
Mm.
That McDonald's, and I am not kidding, there were like 200 people in there.
Man,
It was packed. And I
That's
said, I will. When they say the city that never sleeps, they ain't kidding.
that ain't kidding.
This was picture a McDonald's in New York during lunch hour. You would think it would be like super full, right? Between 12 and 1 or 11:30 to 1, something like that. It was just as full as if it was that time, but this was 3 a.m.
Yes, New York.
5 registers open, 20 people on each register, like the line wise, and then all the seats are full where people are eating and they got to be standing. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. That's New York. That's my example of New York compared to everywhere else. When you're there at 3 o'clock in the morning at a McDonald's and you can't sit down and
Yes,
you're
New York.
waiting 20 minutes online at 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, that's New York. That's the difference. New York and everybody else.
Now, Gil, shifting. I want to stay in the basketball, but I want to shift to a different part of basketball, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have this thing, man, with Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, and there's been a lot of talk. Like you was mentioned earlier, Ryan Clark, and RG3 have a different opinions. It's getting personal on the X. It's getting very personal.
Very ugly. Very unfortunate. Very unnecessary.
Can you bring the audience to the same page, so in case they don't know what we're talking about, exactly what's going on?
Okay, so here's without opinion. Here's what happened, and then people can form their opinion after. Here's what happened. So the season kicked off. The Fever and
Chicago Sky.
The Chicago Sky kicked it off, and there was a play in the game where Angel Reese, down by the basket, kind of like pushed off her defender. Nothing was called. The defender kind of sold it, like backed off. And you see Caitlin Clark point in the point to what just happened to a referee. Referee didn't call anything. So Angel Reese had a wide open basket, and Caitlin Clark grabbed her, hard foul. Okay, just grabbed her so she wouldn't get the ball up and score. Angel Reese is a lot bigger than Caitlin Clark, so she can't, slap foul or anything like that. If you're committed to her not scoring a wide open basket, you've kind of got to do a hard foul. And the fact that she didn't play the ball made it technically a flagrant foul. I'm fine with that. She fouls Angel Reese, and Caitlin Clark walks away. Angel Reese gets up all huffy and puffy, goes towards Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark's walking away, never faced her. And one of the Caitlin Clark's teammates from the Fever kind of holds back Angel Reese.
Leah Boston.
Because nobody else did. So somebody had to do it. That's what happened. Okay. I am not telling you anything other than what happened. You form your own opinion by visualizing that or going to see it yourself. You can YouTube it. Now, after that, RG3, Robert Griffin III, had an opinion, and he went on social media. He went on X, and he said, it is obvious that Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark by how she reacted, and brought up a few other things in the past. Now, And that statement alone, and I think you and I agree on this, I think Robert Griffin III was, I think I don't want to say he crossed the line, but he made it seem like it was obvious. And to me, it's not obvious. Well, I think when you know someone hates somebody, you know it. I
Yeah.
think Angel Reese is probably a little bit jealous, a little bit envious. Okay, I think a lot of players are because of the hype Caitlin Clark has gotten, and I do think the fact that she's a little white girl might rub them a little bit the wrong way. But I don't know that Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. I don't know that. And RG3 made it seem like, he didn't make it seem like, he said, I know that she hates Caitlin Clark. She's always angry when Caitlin Clark is brought up to her or she plays against her. He brought up angry. He brought up angry and hate. I don't necessarily agree with that.
I can't agree with that because I think one, they was on the same All-Star team together,
And
and they
they look fine.
and they played well together. So I don't know about the hate part. I think that any female, if you watch the females play, they're very competitive. So it gets chippy, and it's not like men. Females is, it's females, man. So it's always going to be exaggerated, emotionally. They play the game hard. That's how they play. So I don't think that's the case by far. In my opinion, I don't think, like you said, I don't think it's an obvious hatred.
Right.
You know,
I think that's the key thing. I think it's um I don't think, first of all, I don't think Caitlin Clark thinks anything about Angel Reese. She never says anything, nothing. That was just a hard foul. It was a take foul. It wasn't more than that. Angel Reese kind of shows a little bit of angst towards Caitlin Clark. She did in college, a little bit in the pros. But again, hate is a strong word. I wouldn't say that it's obvious that she hates Caitlin Clark. I wouldn't go that far. And RG3 did. Now, there have been people that have responded to that, but Ryan Clark, former NFL safety for the Pittsburgh Steelers and Washington, used to be called Redskins, now Commanders, and now he's one of the top NFL analysts on ESPN, and he is on X. He's very outspoken. His response was, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but I'm going to be pretty close to what he said. He said that RG3 has to be careful calling a black woman angry because in society you get labeled a certain way when you're called an angry black man or an angry black woman. You could speak on that more than I could. But then he went from that example to it's RG3's responsibility to not talk like that, not to be a Dave Portnoy. Um, and I'm sure, and this is what Ryan Clark said, I'm sure he's not talking to his family about black women and how they have it in society. Things like that. I'm sure he's not talking to his wife, who we all know his wife is white. Okay. He's not having those kind of serious conversations with his family. So it was irresponsible for RG3 to say what he said. Now, we both agree that it was probably a little much to say Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark, but I think it's more than a little much. My opinion, speaking for me, you can speak for you. Speaking for me, I think Ryan Clark went over the line when he said, I don't think RG3 is having discussions about black women in America with his family and his wife. Don't talk about family. You're not there. Don't
right.
mention the wife. We all know what you're insinuating. White wife, they're not having conversations. You don't know the conversations that we're having. And whether you agree or disagree with his opinion on Angel Reese towards Caitlin Clark, it's still basketball oriented. We're
Right.
staying on the basketball subject. That's personal, what Ryan Clark did.
Yep.
For me, you want to talk about me and my opinion on a basketball play? Cool. Go for it. agree, disagree, whatever. But bringing up my family, like, what we sit down and talk about at our dinner table, bringing up my wife, okay, and talking about, like, what conversations
Well,
in privacy of my home with my wife, what we talk about and what we don't talk about, out of bounds, out of bounds. And RG3 responded on X and said, out of bounds, out of bounds.
Mark me, any man, any person, I don't care who you are, man, any ethnicity, we gonna be real, man. Listen, man. The goose and the gander, man, was good for the goose and the gander, right? I don't know if y'all understand what
I
I mean.
know what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Yep.
Right. We always do this, man. I'm talking from a black perspective, bro. You know, we can't negate history, all right? Whatever that version of history you want to paint, right? Because we always go back to the atrocities, man, meted out on our people. All right. So you can't say certain things to us without us being extremely ticked off, defensive. You know what I'm saying? Because we wear emotions on our sleeve, bro. I mean, that's the way it is, and then you gotta watch what you say, bro. But I can say what I want about you. I can say whatever I want. I can say whatever I want about you. Because that was a blatant attack against his wife, right? Let this shoe be on the other foot. That's what I'm going with.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's about to be a holy war, man. It's going to be hands thrown. It's going to be a physical confrontation. It's going to be all types of disrespect meted. Why? Because you disrespected that man's wife, regardless of the color. You violated, man. You violated, man. You ain't got the families, the kids. We all know this is out of bounds. They're not in this. We don't go there and say, oh, we pick on the kid because the color of the kid. The kid is kid. It ain't got nothing to do with adult problems, right? You get no passes. Same thing. We need to stop that, man. In society, period. We need to stop that, man. This ain't the golden age, the dark ages. This ain't the Jim Crow days, and it's not that I don't negate what that time period was. Me personally, I haven't lived through that time period. You know what I'm saying? All I got is newsreels and that type of stuff, right? We need to stop leaning on that kind of narrative, that crutch, man. Okay, because we're in a society now when it's super integrated, like for real. I'll be seeing like white grandmothers with mixed babies in Walmart. You know what I mean? Vice versa. You are free to be who you want to be with. And once again, let's keep it in the context of sports, man.
Mm-hmm.
If the conversation gets too heated or what happened, we always get personal.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
No, you felt some type of way that man commented on a black woman, and he shouldn't be commenting on black woman because he has a white wife. That don't negate his blackness because he met with a white woman. That don't negate his history because guess what? RG3, he walks out that door, what he going to be viewed as? Same as you, Ryan Clark, black. He's going to go through the same, if you saying injustice, he's going to go through the same injustice, not more than you.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be scrutinized on both sides, just what you did to him. Right is right, wrong is wrong, bro. You know what I mean? His opinion is opinion. He can have an opinion, and you could disagree across the opinion. You ain't got to dig.
I don't understand if RG3 was married to a black woman, what would Ryan Clark's explanation be for his response? Okay, you're saying you don't like him saying angry black woman. You don't like him saying she hates Caitlin Clark. Okay. If RG3 was married to a black woman, what would his response have been? What would Ryan Clark's response have been? Because he brought up family and stuff like that. Like, okay, if she was black, then what would you have agreed with RG3? Like, I don't understand. Like, I feel like his response was because of his family that he created, that he's married to. Like I just don't understand why it's not just basketball. It's not just why is your response in disagreeing have to do with his wife?
It was just a slick way of being slick, talking slick. We call it talking slick in the bonus, man. You talking slick.
It's like Ryan Clark took it personal that a black man had something negative to say about a black woman
That's,
towards
yeah,
a white woman.
yeah.
So, oh, well, he thinks like that because he's married to a white woman.
There you go. There you go. That's
Oh.
exactly probably how the thought process went. You know what I mean? And that's a personal thing, you know. Like we said before, I don't think that it's a hatred. I think that it is going to be a rivalry. It's always going to be a rivalry because go all the way back to college,
Mhm.
you know.
And it's basketball. They're going to play
Yup,
each other. They're both early in their careers.
yup.
I mean, if they're good, they're going to play for 15 years.
And they're forever going to be linked.
Yeah,
This is like one
forever
of
they're
those,
feeling.
they're forever linked. It's like bird and magic. They're
Mhm,
forever linked. So get with it. Yeah,
mhm,
some battles Angel's going to win. Some battle Caitlin's going to win. You know, Caitlin's a point guard, and more likely, you know, right now she's going to be a more benefit to her team because she's a facilitator. That's what she
mhm,
do. She has the ball in her hand. Angel is going to be detrimental, critical to her team, and because she rebounds, that's what she
mhm.
do. She's, you know, second chance, and once she start to offensively get better, then she'll be a problem. But right now, I'm gonna give the edge to Caitlin because she could score,
Oh,
assist,
it's
and
it's more than an edge. Right now, it's Caitlin.
yeah,
Caitlin opened up the season with a triple double, 20.
yeah, yeah. And she
So,
is,
she's
yeah,
she's quick. I think Angel Reese is a good player. She
yeah,
hasn't reached her peak. I think Caitlin Clark already is a great player, and she
yeah,
has her peak. So
yeah,
yeah, but you and I can talk about it with basketball.
yeah,
And one, Caitlin Clark, will win some. Angel Reese will win some. Sometimes, there's going to be fouls and things like that. But just keep it about basketball. This other stuff, you're always, don't be butthurt and don't get personal. It's just dumb. You want to disagree with RG3? You and I kind of disagreed with them, sort of. But to bring in the family part and you're what you're discussing at the dinner table and stuff. Oh, please, just stop. Just stop. All right. There's a few things I want to go through fast because I want to end with the NFL rule proposals.
okay,
So we don't have much time. WWE, we saw on Monday night yesterday. Unfortunately, Zoe Stark got a major knee injury, so she's going to be out for a while. She got carried out of the ring. That was terrible. Actor George Wendt from Cheers, Norm, passed away today. So RIP to George Wendt. Um, but here's the thing. Oh, and at the PGA Championship, the second major, Scotty Scheffler won. So he's back on top again. He's probably the world's number one player
yeah.
golf right now.
Before
So
you
real
get to the
quick.
rules, I'm gonna get you one thing real quick. Right
Mhm,
now, Panthers are up 4-1 in game one of the Eastern Conference Finals for the NHL. And
mhm.
tomorrow, Dallas and Edmonton kicks it off with Connor McDavid is the greatest player right now in the NHL. So look forward to that series tomorrow. It's gonna be a good one.
Okay, and the last thing, the rule proposals that are happening today, tomorrow are the push tush, flag football, and playoff seating. Flag football has gotten approved. So in the 2028 Olympics, pro players can participate in flag football. I don't know how they're going to select the pro players, but that has been approved.
Okay.
Push tush is tabled for tomorrow. I think they're going to do away with the push tush. Um, they just needed the proper wording to get rid of it. But the big thing, playoff seeding, it looks like they're trying to propose a best record to determine seeding over winning your division. Real quick, how do you feel about that? I sort of like it, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I got yeah, I could dig that. I could dig that.
So you're not going to have a team that's a wild card that's won more games playing a team that's won a division but has a losing record. Like that would be,
Okay. So they're gonna eliminate that.
yeah, they're going to have, if you're the wild card but you have a better record, you're not home field, and they're going to make week 18 important because you're going to want that better record. So you're not going to have
I would like that. I think it will still keep it competitive. I like that. I actually got to see how that's going to change it, but so far in theory, it sounds like it might be actually a good idea.
Okay. All right. So that is our show. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the What's Good with Gil and Larry podcast. We are on The Box Office Buzz 302 channel. Catch us every Tuesday, 9:30 p.m. And the show has its all jazzed up premiere on Fridays at 7 p.m. For Larry Loper, I'm Gilly Rosari. We'll catch you Tuesday. Enjoy the playoffs. Deuces, y'all.
Deuces, partner.